Good evening and welcome to another scene in the living world of darkness, Camarilla and Anarch venue. Tonight we have a scene in a location known to some of the city's kindred as, well, no longer exactly the domain of one of the city's hounds, but a place owned and run by someone in the community. Not beknownst to all, though, but a lot of people know about this place. Emily Stevenson it's fairly early in the night, a couple hours since the sun went down, and Emily's just checking out the place after the afternoon and late, or like early evening rush of the place, where most people come and work out. She's just making sure that everything is fairly neat, fairly tidy, that the cleaning crews are doing their jobs. She seems to be just checking out the place. And for the moment, she'll just, she's just checking out the place, having a little chat with some of the workers. If something's off or up with anyone or anything in the place, it seems to be running as normal. So Emily, at some point, will just retire to the first floor, where her private quarters are. Private training area she normally hangs out in. And for the moment she'll do a bit of training by herself.
Well, it's not exactly by herself, because you see an interesting, unusual face in your gym. You've seen him in there before. Mainly to be witness to other people getting their asses kicked rather than his own. Samuel has arrived. Before he was so rudely interrupted by his houndly cohort. Scumbag. You see him, not in his normal attire. More vest and tracksuit, more or less. Beating away at some punching bag. He doesn't appear entirely incompetent, much to your surprise. Just not as good as you. Appears to lack your iron arms as well. He's given it a fair shake, but it's not with the force or skill that Emily herself would hit it with, and you can see numerous flaws in his technique. He appears to be exercising and trying to, from what you know, prepare himself for any future combat situations that a hound would find themselves in.
Emily will come over. Just, good evening. You having an okay night?
Sam will continue punching this bag as he talks to you. He seems to be doing almost like semi-dodge motions, trying to get himself in the mood. He's like, hi, Emily. What can I do for you?
Well, nothing, but since you're here, I mean, I would think that it would be the opposite. I would be able to do something for you. She smiles at him. Just, I don't know. I mean, you're free to work out here, but there's a bit more. She looks around to see how many is standing just next to them, and just a bit more privacy upstairs.
He gives the punching bag one final shake, and actually swings a bit further back than this time, and it almost actually swings far enough that it almost swings back towards him like a pendulum, and he just has to, he bends his back slightly to dodge it as he walks over towards you. He'll grab a towel, which is a bit strange, because obviously, as a kindred, he doesn't sweat. He rubs it over him anyway. Hey, sure thing.
And just for the sake of having an excuse to enter, we'll assume that Hotaru is checking the place out as a potential use to her, and is getting the tour from one of the employees there, getting shown about to where all the machines are, getting lectures on how great these various shops and training and blah are, because that's how they do, pitching the whole thing the whole time. And as the one steps away from the heavy bag, she can be seen over there expressing some sort of interest, gesturing in that direction. She's currently dressed pretty informally, wearing essentially what amounts to like a pair of yoga pants, probably the usual like sports bra dealio, and then just a modded up t-shirt that's been kind of torn up to be loose and comfortable. And she is, well, remarkably easy to pick out because from the neckline down to the elbows, she is completely covered in tattoos.
And she is Asian?
Hmm?
She's of Asian descent, or?
Oh yeah, very Japanese.
Oh, okay.
I can't do the accent justice, so I don't. But
that is quite all right. Well, I'll actually just see one thing, just to inform my roleplay here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what she has most of, but whenever the role shows up. Wow, this computer is slow.
It's okay. It happens to the best of us.
Just wish I had my other. But oh yeah, she just she'll just poke Sam. Just hey, just point over. Maybe I should get her number and give it to Ghost. I think that would be. Did you think that would be a match? She just says as she looks over at the tattooed lady. She just.
And we'll see if she notices that she's being talked about. As soon as my dice load. Bloop. Unless you're trying very hard to be subtle, she does indeed notice.
Yeah. 3 successes.
Emily is not in any way subtle when it comes to any social situation. So yeah, you will notice. What you'll see, I mean, does Samuel want to describe himself first?
Right, yeah. Sam appears to be a man of average height and build, hovering around 5'8", with much like he does in his little display, having his hair pulled back. Obviously not in his jacket this time around. What you could see his rather formal look about him. His formal hair. He seems to talk with a bit of an Irish accent. Unfortunately, I'm quite shit at it, but yes, he does definitely sounds quite Irish. And yeah, his hair's still gelled backwards for some reason or another. Gives him this formal look, even as he's in a tracksuit, more or less.
All right.
And beside him, the person you see has pointed and said something in your direction. You'll see a woman who is 5'10", 5'11", maybe, a bit taller than the man. She's wearing fairly tight clothing you would think for either for fighting or for maybe it's like a tracksuit for a colder day, but it's very tight, and it seems as though this would be something for like grappling maybe, or like moving around and also getting a lot on the ground and rolling around. You can see that she's built. She's spent time here. She's not a bodybuilder per se, but she's She's started at a young age, maybe swimming, maybe rowing. She's well built, and but she's not like overly pumped. It's probably that she runs and swims a lot, and that's what's given her this build. She looks as though she's quite strong and quite healthy, except for her tone. Her tone is very pale, and depending on well, you know certain things, but you do notice that the woman she has short blonde hair and is fairly normal looking. But you'll notice that she's particularly pale.
Okay.
Same goes for
Is
Sam,
that
actually. He doesn't have blush of health on, so he does appear quite pale.
is there a roll that I should make to make a logical connection based on everyone being super pale?
It would be an awareness check, because it's about the supernatural.
Okay, I can do that.
But I would say since you're a ghoul, it's not very hard
Yeah, it's still fair to
since you
roll
know
with it.
certain things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
you
still
might be
only
able to
one
notice other
success.
things as well. Like, yeah, okay. For the sake of the scene and the fact that you have succeeded, you notice that not only are these people really pale, the guy who was just smashing a punching bag to bits just about 30 seconds earlier is not sweating or out of breath at all.
Yep, and he's got his hair slicked, which is just weird in a gym. Let's be honest.
It is, yeah, it is kind of weird. He has this almost like, how to put it, this, criminal boy prince look to him. He looks a bit smarmy, a bit like he's a cock of the walk, like he's got a bit of an ego, but also looks like he has the friends that could back it up. Like if you said some shit to him, you might find a big burly guy right behind you, ready to smash you in the face. Kind of that kind of look to him. He's got a bit of a like his confidence doesn't seem to just be taken for granted. There's definitely it appears to be good reason behind it. Well, there appears to be some sort
Or
of
so he believes, anyways.
well,
Well,
yeah, he
alright.
appears to act with whatever reason. He seems to have reasons behind his actions rather than just acting on impulse. Definitely has that kind of, yeah, that sort of look. From how much you can discern from a simple look of a man, of course.
Um, does Sam respond to Emily's comment?
He says, I'm not exactly sure anyone could be Ghost, to be honest.
No, I'm not thinking about. Oh crap! I'm making a sex thing again. Oh, Jesus Christ! She's a bad influence on me. I swear.
Well, at least we can agree on something. He seems to smile at that.
Yeah.
Again, that
Can't
bit
be
of
helped,
a
I suppose.
cocky, amused grin.
All right, let's go.
And
Um,
having noted that she was the product of, or the subject of conversation, they will probably notice that she does take a moment to knit her brow. And then, while she was making a motion as though to approach the abandoned punching bag, she'll pause for half a moment, give them another kind of thoughtful glance, and then offer a very, polite in the way only the Japanese can be painfully polite, offer a very polite bow of her head before continuing towards the punching bag.
Emily will just look at Spillane. Did you see that?
Sam just kind of looks at her with this, looks at Emily with this very it's like a mixture of confusion and sarcasm. And he says, "Of course, I saw her. She just bowed right in front of me." And
Why don't you just go upstairs? I'll be right there. Emily says. She nods over to the door.
Sam just looks very confused. He doesn't really understand what the reaction's about. Maybe you spotted something he didn't, but he doesn't seem to understand. So he doesn't really move. He just seems to wait. So he's not really following your order. He's more like a half following. He's not really interfering, but he's not going upstairs per se. He just seems to be waiting around for you. He seems to. You get the impression that he wants to observe whatever it is you're about to do.
Emily will just. It almost looks as though she takes a breath. She begins to use spend blood and begins to become, less pale.
That require like a manipulation check, a manipulation subterfuge check, because that's like suddenly you grow colourful in a place. Like there's a noticeable change in your skin's colour to people.
Yeah, she will. She can go to the side and do it.
Yeah, she can.
There are lots of rooms. Since she owns the place, she'll go into a room, just do it, and come out looking a lot more fresh, a lot more, well, for lack of a better word, alive. And she'll just you can tell that she's trying. I'm not even going to roll it. This person is trying to look as though she's just looking around the place, but she's clearly walking over towards you. It's not even hard to spot.
Sam actually, you would also see
Dude face just lingering in the background like a creeper.
Yeah, Hotaru just kind of, you can see Hotaru sees Sam, this Irish figure, just kind of is like, his hand is on his forehead and he's just shaking his head, and he looks very amused by this, as if perhaps this is not the first time he's seen something like this. It's like an endearing. It's kind of a mixture of endearing and insulting, because on one hand he's very much. It's very much oh, there she goes again. At the same time, it's kind of endearing.
Hotaru's reaction, at least during the approach, will be to politely pretend that she doesn't notice. She'll use peripheral vision to kind of track where this woman is as she's moving forward. But her presumed interest is in the punching bag itself, which she will probably give a light push to try to determine how hefty the heavy bag is. If there is a larger bag, she'll probably go for that one, in interest of not breaking anything. And after a glance taken towards the person who is actually giving her the tour, the random employee B, she'll get a bit of a nod and kind of give it a light smack, and then go ham a bit. Give it a couple really good solid punches. If there is one large enough that it's grounded to the floor, potentially a couple kicks. She knows or she looks like she knows what she's on about. There's definitely more finesse than just casual punching and kicking. Go figure, it turns out at least one Japanese person is all kung fu-like. Clichés be damned. And she, for her part, since others have made a point of saying so, she looks definitely very solid. She looks like she belongs in the gym. Like, she looks like if you were to just happen through and see her there, she's not like some waifish girl that you kind of shake your head and go, oh, that's cute. She definitely looks like she knows what she's about.
Just out of curiosity, what is your appearance score?
It is 2. She's not especially attractive, but she's definitely capable looking. Most of the interest in her appearance is probably in the fact that she has the tattoos. But otherwise, she's reasonably plain.
You'll notice that the person who's just finishing up the thing, so I'll be back to you in a moment. And as he walks over and you have time for training, you'll notice that Emma just comes up and just, good evening. Have you're just on our introductory course?
And she'll pause what she's doing and kind of set both hands on the bag to steady it, and step back a bit from it, to turn and more fully engage by turning herself towards Emily. And she'll bob her head. And that's it. She doesn't say anything. She just politely little head bob.
Um, it's not she, Emily just looks a little confused. I mean, it's all right. You can talk. I mean, you're interested in joining or what?
Sam's face fully collapses into his head at this point. Fully collapses into his hands. Sorry. Wow, that'd be weird. His face, it becomes a black hole. No, no. You just see him just like, oh, fuck. just both his hands are just covering his face at this point. Just kind of slowly wash down his face, and he just kind of. You only see the upper half of his face at this point, so it's really just kind of his eyes are just saying it all like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, she's still kind of, she's not looking straight at him, but she's keeping him in peripheral vision. So there will be the faintest little smirk, a little pull at the corner of her lips, and she'll give her head a bob again before kind of gesturing to the, in particular to the area with things like the speed bags and the punching bags and whatnot. And for the sake of simple explanation, say it is very promising, yes. Most do not have such an extensive collection as this. One bag, not chained, not enough.
All right. Emily just smiles and nods. That's good to hear. Sorry, I thought you just like gave me a nod before. I mean, have I met you before or?
And she kind of, again, smirks faintly, and kind of looks her more thoroughly over, with the faintest little head tilt, because she has made a point of kind of flushing herself with color, and then takes a more pointed glance towards the fellow lingering in the background, and then looks back and kind of looks torn for a second on how to respond. Not personally, no. But I think that I am familiar with who you are, saying you in a collective sense as opposed to a very direct sense.
Emily gets a little flustered and just looks quickly around. There's really no people around at this point. She just
Sam, you see Sam.
It's lucky enough that it's probably pretty empty.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's not a lot of people here. It's a gym in the middle of the night. Like there's not going to be a lot.
Why don't I show you another place around here? All right. She just looks at her. Why don't you just come with me a moment?
And she will again, kind of very politely bring the hands up, kind of offer a half bow, and say, "As you wish."
You can, as you do that, and your head comes up again. Emily just looks at you for a moment, but then she didn't really tense up, but you can tell that she relaxes a bit, and she just has this like faint smile on her face. She just nods and it seems as though she's not that alarmed or doesn't. I mean, it's not like she's ready for trouble in that sense. She just says, "All right, follow me." And she will take you she'll take you to the main place, and there will be a door. You'll come into some back rooms. There's really no one around. You'll probably be joined by Samuel at some point.
Yeah, no, you pass him and he's eating a fucking Kit Kat bar. Just seems to have been soaking in this whole situation. Seems to be terribly amused. And well, you see him get changed. Well, you don't see him get changed. He walks off to get changed. He'd be in for quite a treat if he got changed openly, but unfortunately not today. And
So-
yeah, he'll walk in, and as he looks in his avatar with his jacket and his shirt, vest, and red tie, and looks awfully casual, formal.
Oh, nice.
And,
For the sake of
suddenly
notice, as Hataru is being led off into the bowels of this building and far away from the public eye, it becomes very clear. Like, I'm not going to make you roll for it. She seems to be perfectly aware of the fact that she's being led off into a place where there are not prying eyes. And while there is, I wouldn't say tension, she becomes, as they get out of the public venue, very light on her feet, as it were.
Emily will just turn around. You're not gone that far. You've gone through like 2 doors. And she just says, "All right. I don't know if you. I hope you know the rules, but this is my place, and you know that. How do you know, and what do you know?"
Yeah, that's going on someone else's turf. Can be considered a bit of a slight, or at worst, a breach of some sort. Want a Kit Kat? He offers you a Kit Kat.
Oh, fuck it. She'll take the Kit Kat. And she'll, again, it's a very polite little bob of the head in thanks, and then we'll turn back. I am very new to the city. I am very new to the country. I apologize if I have misstepped. But I do know that until a moment ago you were very pale, and I do know that it is kind of weird, kind of strange that he is, And she just kind of waggles the Kit Kat bar.
Ah, some of us have it, some of us don't.
I am only very partially, very novice in my education. Apologies if my English is not perfect.
No, that's not really a problem. It's just we've been having some. Well, there's a lot of different people around. Well, around town, and I've had a couple of unwelcome guests, I suppose you could say. So just want to take certain things on the fly, so it doesn't add up, and suddenly I have to deal with 5 things at once.
I would hardly like to be considered a threat or a risk to you. After all, you do have a very nice gym.
Thanks. And the fact that you came willingly and don't seem to be wanting to cause trouble is already better than some other things I've experienced this last couple of months. But you're new to all of this, I suppose. Well, that's what you said, right?
I am new to the city, and I do not know how much I will be educated, to be perfectly honest. I
You know the
know
6 rules.
just enough. And out of game I don't, so you might have to refresh me on that.
Alright, fuck. Well,
Like, Katie was given Kindred Lore 1 and Anarch Lore 1 for free, but has no idea what that gives her. So we'll assume that she's having a blank moment, and she kind of knits her brows in confusion.
I'm not sure if Anarch Law gives you knowledge of the 6 traditions, but yeah.
Well,
So
then
we
all the
might
more
know.
legitimate that she looks kind of vaguely confused.
You definitely know the first, which pretty much everyone does, just because it's common sense. That you're not supposed to reveal yourself. So you'd know that at least. You definitely know that just because it's obvious. It's like
She nods her head. Common
Yeah.
sense, yes.
Sam finishes eating his Kit Kat bar, which eerily resembles a twirl instead. But
And just to make it more obvious, I don't know how much they have or haven't figured out, but she is very much alive. You can see, there is color in her cheeks. She is breathing at like logical intervals, much faster when she was punching the bag, just steadily now. You can see her neck, like you can see the pulse. She's very alive.
So who's Arya? Because he ain't been doing a very good job, boss. I'm not one to judge like that.
I am not often exposed to my master's companions or peers.
Probably for the best, but he should have probably given you an education as well.
Normally I do not speak and do not act without guidance. I probably should have reported back already, but I was at the end of my errands for the day and thought it wise to stop in and find a place to better myself so that I may serve him more effectively.
Ah. Right here then, you're a ghoul. Ain't no one talks like that unless they've been bonded.
And she'll nod her head again.
He'll take a seat, and it's like almost it's very he just like lays back and almost has his hands on both the arms of a chair. He seems to swivel around in it with his leg crossed over the other. Well then, right now, the little complication in the roles we're dealing with is a little one called domain. Basically, if someone's granted domain, then they more or less get to do what they want in it. Do you know what a prince is?
I am familiar with the term, yes.
Right. Well, this entire city is that guy's domain. So he makes the rules. And that prince saw fit to give domain of Vistian to my dear friend, Emily Bahiroe here. Her name's Emily. I'm Samuel Spillane. He just kind of waits on you to give your name. And then he'll just kind of tilt his head, kind of comically, quizzically, if you don't.
It may take her a moment to catch on. Again, there's that kind of dawning comprehension for about half a second on her features before she falls into, this time, a more formal bow, directed, just towards the both of them. I am Yume Hotaru.
I mean, you can say that you can see that Emily's she's not saying anything at this point, but she is quite intensively looking at you, a bit with interest, more than just like distance or like concern, but just looking at quite quizzically at you at this point.
I did not mean to breach etiquette. I have only just entered the area. I have only learned of one area of influence. I was unaware that I was breaching another's domain. I hope that I can be forgiven for my oversight.
It's quite all right. I mean, it's just we had as I said before, we had some security problems, and I'm just a little bit curious. Careful about who comes and who goes, and just want to take these problems.
You're lucky to you ran into us and not some of the stricter of those among our rank. They may have been a bit less charitable. We obeyed the first rule only to run headfirst into the second. It's a start.
But who's your and then Emily kind of just drags or just pauses a bit and just says, Master? And she even seems a little uncertain or not too comfortable with using that word, but you could take up that or think of that what you will.
I'm trying to decide on the out of game if it is something that would be bad form to declare, but I'm going to assume not. Um, my boss, my master, is Douglas Hildebrandt. He is also fresh to the city.
Oh, all right. Okay, fair enough. Douglas is okay. I'll have to. Yeah, I
I
haven't met him
believe
yet,
he
so.
is still making his introductions.
All right. Okay, that explains it. That explains it. Emily
Right.
just nods a bit and just stands there, looks away for a bit, and just looks to Spillane.
Sam just lets out a rather forced sigh when he hears the name, because now he knows who fucked up. Uh, all right. Well, you might also want to get you acquainted before he starts sending you off all over the place.
I, again, apologize. I am accustomed to walking freely during the day and
No,
acting as
it's
one of the herd. I did not mean to offer offense. If, and this point she'll turn to look particularly towards Sam. If I can take some action to earn clemency for my boss, I would appreciate the opportunity to do so, rather than have him punished for my misdeed.
at this point, Emily looks surprised, and her eyebrows are kind of raised. She just looks at you and what you just said. She looks, it's not bad in any way, but she just looks at you and just looks around. She doesn't really know what to make of what you just said.
Sam kind of puts his arm around you like he's not putting the moves on. It's almost like friendly. Like he kind of shakes you like almost jovially, and he kind of has like a finger pointed at you. He's just standing right beside you and have his arm around you as he say that. He's like, "See, I like that attitude. Taking one for the team. Just tell your the fucking Dominator that we should give you a fucking education, so that fuck ups like this don't keep happening. Because, well, I'm not sure if you know what hounds are, but it's our job to clean up fuck ups like this."
Is there some manner of map or reference that we can have of these domains so that they may be avoided?
I'm quite sure you Dominator can. And again, she also struggles a little with the word Dominator. But she just, I think he can get a clue if he, well, if he speaks with the, well, if he meets up, comes up at Elysium and speaks to the right people, then it shouldn't be a problem.
Tell him to go talk to the Harpy, but tell him to
Yeah.
stay away from. Wait, give me a second. I just need to look up the. Sam will just give you the location of his domain, just south of the rack actually, and you'll say also tell him to stay the fuck out of Battery Park, and most of Harlem.
Of course. It will be done.
Uh, Emily just looks at you and just, don't, I mean, it's quite all right. You can, I mean, as long as you're all right, I mean, you can come here and it's not a problem. It's just some people, of our, she chews on that and she's just, some of us are like real, like racist, where, well, not against like ethnicity,
Conservative.
but against like they're real assholes towards ghouls. Just, I mean, I don't have a problem. It's still a little iffy on the whole concept, but it's just be careful with just sometimes it could be a good thing to follow your dominator because sometimes they'll just shit on you and not really pay attention to you. Just a word of warning.
I am often at night in the company of my Domitor.
All right.
I
I mean,
let my day
you're
run long.
oh, okay, but I mean you're very polite, so I don't think you'll get into much trouble. But I really actually haven't anyone ever heard anyone be that polite. She still looks at you.
She
Little,
grins faintly, as though amused.
she looks generally either surprised or like a little put off or something. She just stands there. But yeah, I mean, just I mean, if you keep doing that, I don't think you'll get into much trouble. But there are some people who are a little, were quite a lot more protective than I am about their place and their stuff. Just
If apologies if I misunderstand, but if you are so protective of an area that you call your domain, would you make it a public building such as this, where anyone could theoretically walk in through the front door?
well,
If they're walking in through the front door, then they've already been caught.
Oh, I've
well,
walked in through the
it's
front door.
Exactly, and we caught you.
when I'm when I got this place, I made kind of a promise, and well, it's a bit more complicated than that. Um, I have to keep the doors open, but as well, I also promised, well, some people to train them a bit in certain things. And
Aye. Remember that whoever owns the domain gets to make the rules, so if Emily here wants to make it a public place for people to come and go as they please, then it's not really a problem.
Can she?
But-
Nods.
but I
The
have
problem
other
is when
friends
people start acting out of turn and start just throwing fucking chairs around and, well, eating people.
I imagine
They're
that would
people
be
outside, not inside.
problematic regardless of where it was done. I understand subtlety.
Hey,
Emily just
like,
shakes her head. She's,
my domain's a fucking dive bar. I don't really care who comes and who goes, as long as they don't, well, use powers or feed on my turf. If they feed on my turf, I'm gonna bash their fucking skulls in.
I assure you that were my Domitor in such a place as he would be required to feed in your domain, I would be with him. And assure that he did not feed upon anything that was yours.
You seem a little too good for him, to be honest. You seem
Are
to have a
others
better grasp of
less-
the situation than he does.
Are others less pleased with their Domitors then?
Really? Being a ghoul, you'd also have like a total absolute loyalty to your Domitor, but in which case Sam would say, nah, not from what I ever heard. Not from taking a look in the history books either.
It seems
Such
strange
things
to me
don't
that
happen.
a ghoul would in any way act that would risk their Domitor.
Exactly.
And she tilts her head a little bit in confusion. Then why is my behavior so strange? If I was rude to you, it would fall back on him.
Sam kind of looks at you confused because he doesn't really seem to understand the point you're making. Aye, if he went about feeding in my domain, it would be on him, and I would bash his skull in.
well, I just and Emily just
No offense.
Oh. Some ghouls might find that their boss isn't to be disrespected, and so they go around being assholes because their dominator is kind of pushing people around as well. I mean, it happens, and they imitate their sire, and I'm not saying that's a good thing or a smart thing to do, but it happens. I've heard.
if you're incompetent.
I strive not to be that.
We've already proven that you're very much competent, so you've got that good for you, because that's not a common trait in most people. He seems to shake his head and look a bit annoyed, as if, again, he deals with this on a regular basis. But you've been, well, more than civilized, which I've been quite thankful for. Anyway, we were talking about rules. I think we got the second one, about domain, basically. Someone owns a place, and they claim it as domain, and that's their right, and they're given it. Or, well, the prince gets the whole city as domain, so you listen to him either way. But basically, if you're in someone's domain, they're making the rules. Simple as that. I could give you the old language way of it. What was it? The domain is thine own concern, O lovers, O fear, respect, while in it, not my challenge, thy word, while in thy domain. Listen to the guy who owns the domain, basically. Third one doesn't really apply to you because, well, you ain't a kindred. Basically, it comes down to not siring someone, not making another kindred without the permission of the elder, with an elder, which basically means ethnicity, the prince. Same goes for the fourth rule. It's not like you're going to have any progeny of your own, so that one doesn't really apply to you either. The fifth and the sixth do. The fifth one basically is when you come to a city, to show your respects, you introduce yourself to the one that is in charge of it, which in this case would be the prince, again. So if you're... Now presumably if you're saying your Dharmata has been making introductions, then that shouldn't be too much of a problem, but it may be wise to remind him.
He has made arrangements.
Good. And the sixth one is, well, I'm amazed he hasn't told you this one. Don't kill another kindred. Accidental or not, you're fucked. Because then I will be shooting you in the face.
Again, this sounds as though it is common sense.
Aye. Only the prince gets to make that call.
And she'll kind of glance between them for a moment. Should I expect to be accompanying my Domitor to meet the prince? Is that rude, or is it polite in that it would provide them a chance to become familiar with me as well?
It isn't really a matter of etiquette more than a matter of preference. Your Domitor might bring you along, he might not. Depends. Considering you seem to be quite diplomatic, you should see some value in bringing you along. Considering I know you personally now, I would certainly raise an eyebrow if you didn't. But then again, if he's confident enough that he can handle the situation without you, then he might not. I don't really see the prince having an opinion one way or the other.
I should not like to offend. It is good to know that it will not be seen as such. As you have said before, there are others who are more traditional and would look down upon me and perchance look down upon my master for bringing me into their presence. I would not like to cause any sort of disdain.
Depends on the individual. Some girls are quite useful for getting gossip around. Seems to smile at that. Anyway, you might want to be careful though when it comes to well, when it comes to our little rule set, because well, you're bound by some of these rules. You're not necessarily protected by them because you ain't a kindred. You know, if I was a real asshole, Insofar as one of these super protective folk, I would be well within my rights to shoot you in the face, because you ain't a kindred. Fortunately, I'm not. Well, actually, I wouldn't be within my rights because it's not my domain, it's Emily's. But she would be within her rights to shoot you in the face. He seems to make an awful lot of references to shooting people in the face. This is very noticeable.
This does seem to be a trend in the conversation, yes.
Yeah. Well, she Clio, but I'm more of a gunman myself.
Just out of curiosity, do you know what, I mean, your Dominator, what family association does he have? Do you know that?
Let me look really fast.
So, what clan does your Domitos hail from?
I'm checking real fast to see if she needs to play stupid. Okay. She does not need to play stupid. And so she'll mull over it for a moment, as though, again, this is one of those lost in translation sort of things where she's trying to pick the term out of her brain. And she'll finally look a bit satisfied and look towards them and say, "My master is a gangrel."
Oh, interesting.
You will be able to notice, without any roll, that Emily reacts quite visibly to that.
Hey, Emily, you've got a new friend. Gives a bit of a Cheshire Cat smile at that, just... Oh, trolling hard. But Emily is so stunned by the verbal mastery of Sam, clearly. That she falls completely silent as Sam just shrugs upon her deadpan look of just glaring holes into him. He doesn't appear intimidated. And he'll turn to you and say, well, if you could do me a slight favor, tell him that we had the hounds had the most wonderful chat with you, and that they think he's a cuntly and fuckwit who needs to give you a proper education.
I hope you do not mind if I use my own words in this message.
Aye, well, I was hoping to be a massive asshole to this man, to be honest. To be
Emily,
quite frank,
having
I consider...
gotten out of her entrancement as she very temporarily just became a Toreador, just perks back and she reacts to Spillane. She says, "Oh well, yeah. Suppose I have another member of the clan now. Oh well, that's going to be interesting," she says.
Aye.
If you choose on it for a bit, you can say that it's not. There are multiple things she thinks of that, and it's not all good. But whatever the case is,
Me do this. Of course, I didn't take empathy because she's an asshole, but I can still roll perception. That's still not a bad roll. For one success worth, does she catch any expressions of disdain or displeasure over this revelation?
no, what you can tell, it looks more like someone thinking back at something, remembering something that isn't pleasant.
Okay.
But I mean, it looks more like reminiscence or reflection on something than it. But
Which
that's all you gather. She just Oh well, I'll have a talk with him, I suppose. She just looks at you and just, do you have his number or something? Because I think I should talk to him. Yes. Yeah.
And she will chew on that for about half a second before uh, saying, I can offer my own, but I think it would be in bad taste, perhaps, to offer my Dometer's number directly without his permission.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. She says as she nods. All
At
right.
any given point, you should be able to call me, and I will be able to pass him the phone,
Yeah.
and you may earn that from him.
Well, one moment, and you'll see that Emily will go through a door, and there'll be like a couple of minutes, and then she'll return with a phone, and she'll just take your number.
Mm-hmm. So what are you rolling there, buddy?
Chris,
Yeah.
what are you
What do I have to do?
rolling?
What am I
What
rolling?
did you roll?
What roll?
I could have sworn I saw dice up on your
Oh,
screen for
that's
half
so
a
if you'd
second.
roll to hide whether he disdains your sire or not. He doesn't seem to. Yeah, he got more successes than you, so you don't catch anything.
I was only checking Emily anyways, so
Yeah,
you're scot free.
Yeah, he looks totally like blasé about it, like he couldn't give less of a damn. Either way.
But after
Also,
being,
Emily also would have heard that Sam said if Hotaru could do them a favor and say that the Hounds had the loveliest chat with her, and that they think that her sire is a cunt-licking fuckwit who needs to give her ghoul, who needs to give his or her ghoul a proper education on the traditions. And then she asked if she could use her own words.
She's like, I hope you don't mind if I translate that a wee little bit.
And Sam
yeah,
said, well, he was hoping to get the point across by being a massive asshole.
She will again offer an apologetic sort of. I know it probably all just looks like bowing to them, but it's meant to be an apology. Again, I apologize for my oversight. I should hate to think that it would reflect poorly on my master, that I have wandered so far out of where I am meant to be.
Well, in which case he should be apologizing and not you, but, well, it's not for me to decide. Do you think this is good, Emily?
I don't see it's going to be a problem with her, right? I mean, she seems very, very well behaved.
I think you can interpret that as long as it's not a recurrent issue.
I mean, I just don't. I mean, there are a lot of people who deserve a good ass kicking every once in a while, more than that. But I mean, I just don't see why we should just people who. I mean, it's not. I mean, she doesn't know. I mean, why should we be on her case? I mean, we have a lot of people who really have deserved it, and you can see that she's been rambling, and she notices. She just looks at you very quietly and just yeah, it's gonna be it's good. It's good.
Yes.
This was obviously too much of her own self-reflection that she just spoke, which is a little off, especially since she's supposed to be like an authority of some kind.
Yeah, Sam just kind of looks at her a bit, again, slightly sarcastically, and says, "You know, you make the least convincing argument for her ever." Fortunately, I'm not quite the asshole I'm perceived as being.
Right. The jury's out, I suppose.
Yeah, I could get my shotgun if you wanted.
She looks down at Spoolie.
Anyway.
Alright.
I think we're cool.
Look, Yumi, you're free to just you can train what however you like. if you want to, I'll have you as a member. I can have you in here. That's not a problem.
And she'll smile quite broadly and say, "I appreciate your hospitality."
Yeah, no problem. She just nods a bit and just, all right.
That's a pretty bad roll. That was just an empathy roll to see how Latara has been taking Spillane so far.
Well, she's in the Yakuza. She is not unfamiliar with bluster. So she is not letting it get to her by any means. If anything, she might even... Well, it's one success worth. So if anything, the bluster seems to amuse her ever so slightly. It's not that she isn't taking him seriously. It's just the way he's going about it.
Sam's is being rather joking about it. He's obviously not being serious, so
yeah.
The
What little
interpretation
bits?
seems to fit.
Yeah. What little bits he's serious about? She is certainly absorbing, but she's not getting thrown off by the joking around or the foul language or anything like that.
That's very good. No. It's just a quick roll because Sam's plan had kind of been that was like more a roll for the whole scene because he's kind of been gauging you the whole scene.
Oh yeah, no, she's very earnest, obviously, in her care for her Domitor's health and reputation, and is earnestly being polite and earnestly listening.
That's good. Sam seems kind of happy that what's supposed to be being taken on board is. Obviously, Sam's just given Hotaru a brief rundown and not the full picture, but of course, the full picture's gonna take a while. So he's obviously giving you the
Cliff Notes.
Cliff Notes version, which is enough for most kindred, fortunately. And Sam will. Did we say, well, is there anything else you need? There's one benefit to being me, it's that you don't need a shower after beating the crap out of a punching bag. You notice he smells rather nice. He's got some perfume on, some sort of cologne.
An
Hasn't-
enviable
hasn't
advantage.
He hasn't sweat at all.
No, she didn't get much chance, so she has not worked up a sweat herself. But it was she was definitely putting some oomph into it to test how well made the punching bags were.
Emily will just look. I can take you back into the main, if you want to.
Oh, much appreciated. I should probably report back. She'll kind of pat her pockets and finally find her cell phone, tug it out, and just click it on to look at the time, click it off again, tuck it away. I should be attending to my master.
Right. Okay. Follow me. Yeah, Emily will help you out the way you came in, and yeah. There's something about Emily that's, I mean, she seems quite, from what you can understand, she seems to be quite capable, and yet this social interaction with more than one person, or especially a person she doesn't know, seems to, something's off with her, but you can't really tell what. It's not something supernatural, but it's just, you know.
She seems to have been taken off center, essentially.
Maybe it's hard to tell, but she will just follow you to the door and just said, and yeah, please stop by again. And you're welcome to come in as you wish.
Sam uses this ogling these two towards each other to just put on blush at health. So when you eventually gaze upon him again, he appears suddenly healthy.
And just before you leave, she'll just say, I mean, I don't know if you've done this for a while, but maybe we could spar sometime. You seem capable.
I would appreciate the opportunity, yes.
All right. Emily just nods and essentially bit you for a while.
All right, and Hataru again will pause long enough to offer a quick half bow before collecting the few belongings she had left, quote, at the desk during the tour. She hilariously picks up this, let's see, this parasol with very, very traditional Japanese flowers painted over it. It's folded, so it's kind of hard to pick out exactly the style, but either way, there's bright flowers painted on it. She'll retrieve her purse, and go ahead and make her escape while the escaping's good, and I will leave the hangout if you guys want to continue chatting.
Well, just as you're leaving and you do the bow, you'll see Emily will just look at you and she'll try. My dice stream isn't loading, but I don't have I have 2 dice. Can someone roll me 2 dice?
Yeah, I
Alright,
gotcha.
2 dice. What difficulty?
For Emily is 10. No, I don't know.
It's performance, right?
She's gonna try and mimic the very courteous bows, but
You could do etiquette.
Etiquette or performance?
I'd assume etiquette over performance.
Yeah, etiquette. Yeah, you're right. It'd definitely be because it's manners and
so
stuff.
it's 3 dice. That's actually okay.
Okay. Do you have a dot in etiquette?
Yes.
Okay. So
Nice.
it's difficulty 6. I'll just roll it. Not too bad. 2 successes.
You're pretty
Actually,
good.
just makes a bow and just smiles and just goes back to spooling.
Sam just kind of gives you a. Sam being a bit better at this. How many dots in etiquette did he have? I think he was either way, he'd have more dice than Emily would. Nope. One moment.
Mm-hmm. And as I said before, I will hang out just muted while you guys finish up any chatter you want to do in this scene.
Yeah. No, Sal's going to do a bow and do a similar thing, but he's more familiar with etiquette, so it's a bit more. Unfortunately, that computer is running very, very slowly.
But I believe that Sam and Emily will just spend some time practicing upstairs for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
So
let me roll that dice for you. I
fail.
got it.
Fail.
Fail. Yeah, he botches. He just trips and falls. Hilarious. Wait.
Let me see if I can.
Okay. No, he has. What is it? Charisma etiquette.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I was just wondering what the roll. I was going to make the same roll as Emily. Did Emily make a charisma etiquette roll?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, no, it's actually more or less the same.
In your face.
Yeah. They did a little. They both seem to have picked up on your little your the methods of etiquette that Hotaru seems to use, and it's not amazing, but yeah, they both seem to have.
They've both made an educated attempt, and while she will school her expression until she's out the doors, she is deeply amused that they have picked it up.
Yeah, so Sam got a 10, so it's just ever so slightly better than
But
Emily.
specialer.
He's specialer at it. And
But,
as you walk out the door, make a wits athletics roll.
All right. Damn it.
No,
So
you catch it. You just kind of fumble it. You kind of hear something. You kind of hear something scrunch in Sam's hand, and it's almost like you hear him throw it, kind of hear the air just kind of twist a little bit, and you whirl around and you fumble, like you fumble it, you almost drop it, you just catch it.
It's a little clumsy, but she manages to
Yeah.
keep it from hitting the ground.
Yeah, he just threw you a Kit Kat bar.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Yep. Sam just kind of gives you a little a friendly wave, which you're not sort of sure if it's charming or just the most, if he's being the most sarcastic piece of shit you've ever seen. It's a bit strange. I'm actually gonna have him make a subterfuge roll, even though it probably works against him. Oh yeah, no. He's almost impossible to read. He just kind of gives you this wave, which looks happy. So, it's
Nope,
it's,
you win.
yeah, it's very. Oh yeah, he has more successes than the other dice. He looks yeah, he just looks happy, and you think he might have been pulling a small minor trick
Without
because he
doing
was
anything,
eating
you
it.
can see Emily is almost dragging Spillane at this point. Come on! And she begins to drag him.
Aye.
And
This time I'm
the two
getting a
of them
fucking
will
shotgun.
you can see that the two of them are talking as they go in, and they go back through the doors that you went in before. And the two of them head upstairs and begin to train you. And I believe that with that, our scene comes to a close. Thank you very much for playing and or watching.